My video for May the 30th, 2019 is video number 3101. The title is Samuel Johnson, Fascinating 18th Century Man. Once again, I thank those who publish World News Daily, the information clearinghouse, not for profit, for justice, 100% non-commercial, fearless, forthright, and independent, end quote. They generally provide many interesting quotes that provide food for thought. This is one by Samuel Johnson, quote, "These are the men who, without virtue, labor, or hazard, are growing rich as their country is impoverished. They rejoice when obstinacy or ambition adds another year to slaughter and devastation, and laugh from their desks at bravery and science, while they are adding figure to figure and cipher to cipher, hoping for a new contract from a new armament, and computing the profits of a siege or tempest," end quote. Not knowing who he was, I searched and learned that he was a fascinating man from the 18th century England. Yes, I recommend reading more about him as I did. It is found in Britannica.com/biography/Samuel Johnson. I am going to actually share, well, before I do that, I just want to say I've been watching for something in particular to get notice of, and it hasn't arrived yet. So I'm wondering, and that's what made me do a little bit of searching for a video topic today, because there's a particular subject that I'd like to make a video on, but everything has to be lined up in order to do that. In any case, this man, Samuel Johnson, is fascinating, and I do want to read what Britannica says about him. I'm going to skip a little bit, but I'm going to read like the beginning part of it. His by name was Dr. Johnson. He was born on September 18th, 1709 in Lichfield, Staffordshire, England, and he died December 13th, 1789 in London. He was an English critic, biographer, essayist, poet, and lexicographer. I don't even know how to say that word. Regarded as one of the greatest figures of 18th century life and letters. Johnson once characterized literary biographies as mournful narratives, and he believed that he lived a life radically wretched. Yet his career can be seen as a literary success story of the sickly boy from the Midlands who, by talent, tenacity, and intelligence, became the foremost literary figure and the most formidable conversationalist of his time. The disparity between his circumstances and achievement gives his life a special interest. Early life. Samuel Johnson was the son of Michael Johnson, a bookseller, and his wife, Sarah. From childhood, he suffered from a number of physical afflictions. By his own account, he was born almost dead, and he early contracted scrofula, which is tuberculosis, of the lymphatic glands, because of a popular belief that the sovereign's touch was able to cure scrofula, which, for that reason, was also called the king's evil. He was taken to London at the age of 30 months and touched by the Queen, whose gold touch piece he kept about him for the rest of his life. This was succeeded by various medical treatments that left him with disfiguring scars on his face and neck. He was nearly blind in his left eye and suffered from highly noticeable tics that may have been indications of Tourette's syndrome. Johnson was also strong, vigorous, and after a fashion, athletic. He liked to ride, walk, and swim, even in later life. He was tall and became huge. A few accounts bear witness to his physical strength as well as his character, such as his hurling an insolent theater goer together with his seat, from the stage into the pit, or his holding off would-be robbers until the arrival of the watch. I imagine the watch means police. I listened to the whole thing, and it was rather long, but he certainly had an interesting life. And I think that those of you that take time to go to the Britannica and listen, I mean, I say listen because I have a Vona reader, read it to me. So I'm listening. But if you don't have a Vona reader or a program that reads you the content, then you'll have to read it yourself. In any case, this man overcame a lot of challenges in his early life. I remember that he went to college for 1 year, but then didn't have enough resources to continue. And so he had to drop out, but he gleaned and made some friends at that time that remained his friends for the rest of his life. And he became a very accomplished individual despite starting out with many shortcomings. Now, I know many people who have talents, gifts, and abilities that have not been as successful in our modern era as he was in his. I mean, he was able to achieve notoriety and actual success. He never became a rich man, but he was granted a stipend by the Queen that enabled him to survive and even travel a little bit. Although, if I remember right, I think he did go to France once, but mostly he stayed in England. He did go to Scotland. I do know that he did go to Scotland at one point in time. Anyway, folks, he is an interesting man, and he overcame, as I said, many challenges in his early life. Born almost dead is the way that he phrased it. And we have a lot, hopefully, to look forward to yet, because some of the problems that he faced there in England way back, over 200, maybe even close to 300 years ago, we still have the same problems today in our world. And the problem is there are people who make money, a game, and use it to build armaments, as he said in that quote. This is a racket. Again, Smedley Butler, General Smedley Butler. War is a racket. When are we going to get through our heads as human beings that we have the power to change things, especially if we are empowered spiritually? I don't know exactly what that looks like. I used to think that I was certainly receiving revelations, but I don't know about being empowered. And that is the question. Are we going to be empowered enough to actually stop the con game that's been going on this planet for such a long time? I'm not interested so much in what happens on other planets right now because I'm here now. Yes, I'd like to see the whole universe uplifted. All the galaxies, all the planets, everything, everywhere. I'd like to see it all uplifted. I'd like to be participant in that in my lifetime, not some future incarnation, but here, now, in the 21st century. And as I reflect back on this man, there's been dreamers like me for a long time. Some have gone further than others in achieving their dreams in their lifetime. He has certainly had great accomplishments. I hope I do too, and I hope you do as well. Thank you for listening, and namaste.